Hi, this is Lou from YAstrength. High intensity interval training is a well known and effective exercise strategy used to promote good fitness levels, build strength, and increase cardiovascular health. And fasting, whether it be intermittent fasting or extended fasting approaches, is a proven and effective strategy in mitigating obesity, increasing fat burning hormones, promoting autophagy within the body, and more. So what about pairing those two together as an overall approach or strategy to tackle those goals and accomplish those benefits at once? That can actually be a great approach. In this video, I'll be talking about doing high intensity interval training coupled with fasting. More specifically, the benefits of pairing those two together, high intensity interval training paired with intermittent fasting, and I also include a best practice approach and general thoughts on it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to help me grow. Let's get started. Let's begin by getting a couple of descriptions cleared away here first so we're all on the same page. High intensity interval training, or HIIT, is a type of training that involves short bursts of exercise with brief periods of rest in between those exercises. And the workouts could be as short as 6 minutes, or it can even go up to 30, 45 minutes in some cases. And they usually consist of repeated intervals. Think 40 seconds on and 20 seconds off, and repeat that over and over again. You typically are and should be out of breath by the end of that workout, or even throughout the workout itself, because you're constantly moving at high intensity. Intermittent fasting is a voluntary time-restricted fasting regimen. So you decide to set up a certain, time frame for yourself with regard to when you eat and when you don't eat for a restricted period of time. Now, there are multiple ways to do intermittent fasting, and I did do a video about that, so I'll post that in the description box below if you want to take a quick look at it. But the most common approach is the 16-8 method, where you're eating for 8 hours and you have a 16-hour window of not eating, hence 16-8. To make it simple, think eating between 12 p.m. and 8 p.m. every single day. So you're eating between 12 p.m. and 8 p.m. and you're not eating from 8 p.m. all the way up until 12 p.m. the next day. But the actual benefit of pairing the two together has less to do about fat burning and calories and more to do with what happens inside your body and how your body adapts over time. There was a study published in a journal from the U.S. National Library of Medicine, and I post a link to that journal in the description box below. They looked at the synergy of high intensity interval training paired with intermittent fasting and their effects on the body. Because HIIT and intermittent fasting have so many benefits separately on their own with regard to how they impact the body, these researchers believe that coupled together, they can have an additive effect on energy metabolism and mitochondrial programming. Energy metabolism is the process of generating energy or energy carrying molecules called ATP from nutrients. Mitochondrial resetting and metabolic reprogramming play a crucial role in generating something called iPSCs from your cells. And iPSCs are a type of stem cell. And stem cells are cells that develop into many different types of cells within the body, and they also serve as a repair system for the body. Back to the study. They split the subjects into 3 groups. One group did HIIT, the other group did intermittent fasting, and the third group did HIIT and intermittent fasting together. And this is what they found. Their results show that intermittent fasting combined with HIIT can increase skeletal muscle mass, a higher production in ATP, muscle fiber mitochondria, and reduced oxidative stress markers. In other words, there was a positive effect on energy metabolism and mitochondrial reprogramming. All these things help your body function better and produce healthier cells. Now, please note that there was still an increase in skeletal muscle mass from the group that did HIIT alone. So the group that did high intensity interval training by themselves and nothing else still had an increase in skeletal muscle mass, but it wasn't as high as an increase as the group that did them both together. So the group that did intermittent fasting and HIIT together had a higher increase in skeletal muscle mass. Same goes for fat reduction or fat loss. The group that did intermittent fasting alone still saw an increase in fasting versus the group that did nothing at all. However, intermittent fasting paired with HIIT increased the fat burning. So you can still get the benefits from doing those two things respectively, but coupling it together does make a difference and is very effective. Okay, so outside of research studies, coupling HIIT and intermittent fasting actually mimics our diets from an evolutionary perspective. You see, thousands of years ago, humans were hunter-gatherers, and food wasn't always as abundant as it is today. So people had to go out and hunt and fight for food to feed themselves and their families. And these hunting activities consisted of high intensity exercises, so to speak, as they were going to attack and, catch their prey. And in many cases, they would go hunting and not be able to catch any food, even though they exhausted so much energy to go find their food. And also in many cases, they would go searching for food or go hunting without having eaten anything prior to for an extended period of time. And even in those extreme cases of fasting or not being able to eat for a extended period of time, those humans were able to thrive and grow generationally to the point where we have evolutionized to the point where we are today. But not only were they able to survive, they were able to develop strong and respectable physiques that many of us aim to have today. So consider the times when they were hunting to be their form of HIIT training, right? And consider the times where they did not have any food to be their form of intermittent fasting. Before they even had a name for it, it was just the norm, how they lived. Long story short, both genetically and naturally, I'm trying to say that humans can do HIIT or high intensity interval training in a fasted state without a problem. And that's why there are large communities of people that do this on a regular, and they rave about how great they feel when they couple the two together and how they see so many great benefits that come from doing those type of workouts overall when it comes to their health. So as far as the best practice approach, it's important to understand that everyone's body can and will react differently, including yourself. So consider a few questions before pairing HIIT and intermittent fasting. Number one, how long have you been fasting? Have you been doing it for years, or are you just starting out with fasting or just getting on to your fasting journey and you're testing the waters right now? Number two is, if you're used to fasting and you've been fasting for a few months now, how do you typically feel during your fasting windows? If you're the kind of person that feels great during your fasting window, give it a shot. If you're the kind of person that don't feel as great during your fasting window yet because your body hasn't fully adapted, maybe you shouldn't pair the two just yet. Number three, do you currently work out? It can be tough to just randomly begin doing HIIT if you don't already typically work out. It's best to begin working out, get your body up to speed with those movements and those activities before you jump right into HIIT, because you don't want to burn yourself out and scare yourself from even working out in general. And number four, have you ever done a HIIT before? Just going to the gym and working out or lifting weights isn't the same as doing HIIT, as I described earlier in the beginning of the video. So if you've never tried HIIT before, maybe try doing HIIT during your feeding window first before jumping right into trying HIIT in a fasted state, because it is a more draining and a more intense type of workout to do. Now, the reason why I think you should answer those set of questions before deciding to pair high intensity interval training along with fasting is because doing too many things at once could be a big mistake, a big intermittent fasting mistake, and possibly a big HIIT mistake as far as being a beginner in terms of trying to work out and pair the two together. I did a video called The 3 Biggest Intermittent Fasting Mistakes for Beginners, and I'll post that in the description box below for you to take a look at it. Be sure to also comment below, let me know your thoughts and give me some feedback. Also let me know if you tried HIIT with intermittent fasting before and share your experiences below. As always, this is Luke from YAstrength. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you in the next video.